Hold on, because that old, dirty Jefferson nickel in your pocket could be hiding a jaw-dropping secret. Most people ignore these worn nickels, but collectors know some rare Jefferson nickels have sold for thousands, even shocking five-figure prices. Hidden errors, missing mint marks, silver wartime nickels, and mysterious double details can turn a forgotten coin into serious money overnight. Stop right now, because the dirtiest, most ignored 2015 Jefferson nickel you've ever passed over could be big money hiding in plain sight. I know, it sounds crazy. A modern nickel? From 2015? But stay with me, because the right one can be hidden treasure worth hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases a truly life-changing value. Most people never even look at these coins, and that's exactly why this story matters. Here's the mysterious backstory most collectors don't realize. By 2015, the U.S. Mint was under intense pressure. Production numbers were high, budgets were tight, and speed mattered more than perfection. The Denver Mint, marked by that small but powerful D, pushed dies longer than they should have been used. That's when mistakes happen. Subtle ones. Dangerous ones. The kind that slip into circulation and sit unnoticed for years as hidden treasure. At first glance, a 2015 Jefferson nickel looks worthless. Dark gray, sometimes brownish, often scratched, spotted, and dirty. Jefferson on the front, Monticello on the back. Nothing exciting. That's why people miss big money. Let me reset your attention right now. A 2015 Jefferson nickel with full steps, graded by PCGS or NGC in top mint state, has sold at major auctions for $1,200 to over $2,500. That's real money for a coin most people wouldn't bother picking up off the ground. Condition rarity is everything. Now let's slow this down and teach you how to identify one. First, check the date, 2015. Second, look for the mint mark, a clear D on the obverse, just to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. Third, study the color. Dark, dull, even ugly is normal. Do not clean it. Cleaning can instantly destroy big money and erase life-changing value. Now flip the coin over, because this is where the suspense builds. Look closely at Monticello's steps. You're searching for 5 or 6 sharp, uninterrupted steps. No blending, no mush, no flat lines. Full steps are incredibly hard to find on modern nickels because the steps are the first details to disappear when dies wear out. If you see strong separation, even under dirt, you might be staring at hidden treasure. Reset your attention, because errors are where this coin becomes dangerous. Examine Jefferson's face, the eye, the jawline, the hair, then inspect Liberty and the date. If you see thick, separated doubling, not flat machine blur, you could have a double die obverse. Confirmed double dies on modern Jefferson nickels have sold for $200 to $1,000 or more, depending on strength and condition. Now check the rim. In 2015, overused dies created die cracks, rim breaks, and retained cuts. A bold crack slicing through Monticello or a chunky rim cut can sell for $150, $300, $600, even higher if it's dramatic. These are mistakes collectors actively hunt because they should never exist. Hidden treasure loves mistakes. Let me reset your attention again. Some 2015 Jefferson nickels were struck off-center or with misaligned dies. Even a modest off-center strike, if the full date and mint mark are visible, can sell for $100 to $400. Stronger examples climb quickly. These coins often came straight from circulation. And here's a shock most people don't expect. Because people assume newer coins are worthless, high-grade 2015 nickels were rarely saved. They circulated hard. They got scratched. They got dirty. That makes clean strikes and full-step examples far rarer than the mintage numbers suggest. Scarcity, not age, creates big money and life-changing value. Some of the best-known examples were found in ordinary pocket change, bankrolls, and forgotten jars at home. Regular people. Extraordinary finds. Now listen carefully, this matters. If your 2015 nickel feels sharp. If the rims look squared and strong. If Monticello isn't flat and washed out. If the steps look crisp and separated. You are not holding spare change. You might be holding big money. Professional grading is the gateway. A coin worth a few dollars raw can become a 4-figure coin once authenticated by PCGS or NGC. That slab doesn't create value. It reveals hidden treasure. Let me bring this home. What if the nickel you ignored yesterday? What if the dirty coin sitting on your desk? What if the change in your pocket right now was actually life-changing value waiting to be noticed? That's why this hobby is powerful. It rewards curiosity. It rewards patience. And sometimes, it rewards you with big money when you least expect it. So here's your urgent mission. Check every 2015 Jefferson nickel you own. Look at the steps. Study the rims. Search for errors. Because the next shocking discovery hasn't been made yet. And if you want more hidden treasure, more real big money coin stories, and more chances at life-changing value, subscribe right now. Because the next coin we expose might already be in your pocket. Stop scrolling, because the dirtiest 2013 Jefferson Nickel you've ever ignored could be big money hiding in plain sight. I know that sounds impossible. A modern nickel? From 2013? But stay with me, because the right one can be hidden treasure worth hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases jaw-dropping five-figure, life-changing value. Most people never even look at these coins. And that's exactly why this story matters. Here's the mysterious backstory almost nobody talks about. By 2013, the US Mint had quietly changed everything. Cost-cutting, speed, and automation ruled the process. Quality control wasn't what it used to be. Coins were struck faster, dies were pushed longer, and subtle but critical mistakes slipped through. The Denver Mint, marked by that small D, produced millions of Jefferson Nickels that year, and buried among them were rare strike anomalies and modern errors collectors are now desperate to find. That's how hidden treasure is born in plain sight. At first glance, the 2013 Jefferson Nickel looks boring. Dark gray, sometimes brownish, often scratched and dirty. Jefferson on the front, Monticello on the back. Most people spend it without a second thought. But that old, dirty look can hide big money. Let me reset your attention right now. A 2013 Jefferson Nickel graded in top mint state with full steps. That means 5 or 6 razor-sharp, uninterrupted steps on Monticello. Has sold at auction for $1,500 to over $3,000. Yes, a coin younger than your smartphone can still have life-changing value if it's rare in condition. Now let's slow this down and teach you how to identify one. First, check the date, 2013. Second, look for the mint mark, a clear D on the obverse, just to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. Third, look at the color. Dark, dull, even dirty is normal. Do not clean it. Cleaning instantly destroys big money potential. Now flip the coin over, because this is where the real suspense begins. Zoom in on Monticello's steps. You are looking for clean separation, no blending, no mush, no flat lines. Full steps are incredibly hard to find on modern nickels because the steps are usually the first thing to wear down on the dies. If you see strong steps, even under dirt, your pulse should jump. That's hidden treasure signaling itself. Reset your attention, because errors are where modern coins explode in value. Look closely at Jefferson's face. The eye, the jawline, the hair. Then look at Liberty and the date. If you see doubling that looks thick and separated, not just blurry machine doubling, you may have a double die obverse. Confirmed double dies on modern Jefferson Nickels have sold for $200 to $1,000 plus, depending on strength and condition. Now check the rim. In 2013, dies were often overused. That created die cracks, rim breaks, and retained cuts. A bold rim cud or dramatic die crack cutting across Monticello can bring $150, $300, $600, or more. These are mistakes collectors actively hunt because they should never exist. Hidden treasure loves mistakes. Let me reset your attention again, because this part shocks people. Some 2013 Jefferson Nickels were struck off-center or with misaligned dies. Even a small off-center strike, if the full date and mint mark are visible, can sell for $100 to $400. Stronger off-center examples go much higher. These coins often came straight from circulation. And here's a modern-era shock. Because people assume newer coins are worthless, many rare 2013 Nickels were never saved. Collectors ignored them. Banks released them. They circulated hard. That means high-grade survivors are scarcer than you'd ever expect. Scarcity, not age, is what creates big money. Some of the best-known examples were found in ordinary pocket change, coin rolls from banks, and forgotten jars at home. Regular people found extraordinary coins. Now listen carefully. This is important. If your 2013 nickel feels sharp, if the rims look squared and strong, if Monticello isn't flat and washed out, if the steps look clean and separated, you are not holding spare change. You may be holding life-changing value. Professional grading matters. A coin worth a few dollars raw can become a 4-figure coin once authenticated by PCGS or NGC. That slab doesn't create value. It reveals hidden treasure. Let me bring this home. What if the nickel you ignored yesterday? What if the dirty coin sitting on your desk? What if the change in your pocket right now was actually big money waiting to be noticed? That's why this hobby is powerful. It rewards curiosity. It rewards attention. And sometimes, it rewards you with hidden treasure when you least expect it. So here's your urgent call to action. Check every 2013 Jefferson Nickel you own. Look at the steps. Study the rims. Search for errors. Because the next shocking discovery hasn't been made yet. And if you want more big money coins, more hidden treasure stories, and more chances at life-changing value, subscribe right now. Because the next coin we expose might already be in your pocket. Stop right now, because the dirtiest, most ignored 1983 P. Jefferson Nickel you've ever seen could be big money hiding in plain sight. I'm not exaggerating. That dull, dark nickel most people wouldn't bend down to pick up could be hidden treasure worth hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases jaw-dropping five-figure money. Stay with me, because what happened in 1983 created one of the sneakiest opportunities for life-changing value in modern U.S. coins. Here's the backstory almost nobody tells. 1983 was a silent disaster year at the U.S. Mint. No official mint sets were sold to the public. That alone makes this year dangerous. Collectors didn't have fresh, protected examples to save. Everything came from circulation. Coins were struck fast, handled rough, and released without ceremony. And the Philadelphia Mint, marked with that small P, pushed production hard. Mistakes slipped out. Quality collapsed. And rare survivors became legends. At first glance, the 1983 P. Jefferson Nickel looks worthless. Gray, brown, dirty, soft details. Jefferson looks tired. Monticello looks flat. That's why people miss big money. Now let me reset your attention immediately. A 1983 P. Jefferson Nickel with full steps, graded by PCGS or NGC, has sold at major auctions for $3,000 to over $7,000. That's not hype, that's real money. And here's the kicker. Because there were no mint sets, full-step examples are extremely rare. Most were destroyed by circulation before anyone cared. Now let's teach you how to spot hidden treasure. First, the date, 1983. Second, the mint mark, a clear P on the obverse, to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. Third, the color, dull gray, dark nickel, brownish tones are normal. Do not clean it. Ever. Cleaning can erase thousands of dollars in life-changing value instantly. Now flip the coin over, and this is where your heart rate should increase. Look at Monticello's steps. You're searching for 5 or 6 strong, uninterrupted steps. No blending. No flat mush. Even on a dirty coin, the steps might still be there. If they are, stop. You may already be holding big money. Reset your attention again, because errors are where this coin becomes dangerous. Look closely at Jefferson's eye, nose, and jaw. Then examine Liberty and the date. If you see clear separation doubling, not flat blur, you could be holding a double die obverse. Confirmed double dies from early 1980s nickels have sold for $300 to $1,500 plus, depending on strength and condition. Now inspect the rim. In 1983, dies were overused. That created die cracks, rim cuds, and retained cuds. A bold rim break or crack running through Monticello can bring $200, $500, even $1,000 or more. These errors were never meant to exist, and collectors love them. Hidden treasure loves mistakes. Let me reset your attention again. Some 1983 P. nickels were struck off-center or with misaligned dies. Even a modest off-center strike, if the date and mint mark are visible, can sell for $150 to $400, and stronger examples go much higher. And here's a shock most people don't believe. Because no mint sets were issued, high-grade 1983 P. nickels are rarer than many coins from the 1940s and 1950s. Survival rates are brutally low. That's why collectors pay so much for clean strikes and full steps. Scarcity, not age, creates life-changing value. Some of the best examples ever found came from old bank rolls, estate cleanouts, and coffee cans, not collections. Ordinary people found extraordinary coins. Now listen carefully, this matters. If your 1983 P. nickel feels sharp, if the rims look squared and strong, if Monticello isn't flat and dead, if the steps look even partially complete, do not spend it. You might be holding big money. Professional grading is the gateway. A raw coin worth $20 can instantly become a $3,000 to $7,000 coin once authenticated. That plastic holder doesn't create value. It reveals hidden treasure. Let me slow this down and speak directly to you. What if the nickel you ignored last week? What if the dirty coin in your drawer? What if the change sitting in your house right now was actually life-changing value waiting to be discovered? That's why this hobby is powerful. It rewards curiosity. It rewards patience. And sometimes, it rewards you with big money when you least expect it. So here's your urgent mission. Check every 1983 P. Jefferson Nickel you own. Look at the steps. Study the rims. Search for errors. Because the next record-setting coin hasn't been found yet. And if you want more hidden treasure, more shocking discoveries, and more chances at life-changing value, subscribe right now. Because the next coin we reveal might already be in your pocket. Stop everything, because the dirtiest 1976 Jefferson nickel you've ever ignored could be big money hiding in plain sight. I'm talking about a coin most people toss aside, spend without thinking, or leave rotting in a jar. Yet the right one can be hidden treasure worth hundreds, thousands, and in extreme cases 5 figures. Yes, this could be a life-changing value if you know what to look for. Here's the mystery most collectors never talk about. 1976 was a strange year in American history. The nation was celebrating its bicentennial. Everyone focused on special quarters, half dollars, and dollars. Meanwhile, the Jefferson nickel was completely ignored. No fanfare, no excitement. But behind the scenes, the Denver Mint was running worn dies, pushing production, and quietly creating errors and rare strikes that slipped out unnoticed. That's how hidden treasure is born. At first glance, a 1976 Jefferson nickel looks boring. Dark gray, brownish, dirty, worn. Jefferson on the front, Monticello on the back. Nothing flashy. And that's exactly why people miss big money. Let me reset your attention right now. A 1976 Jefferson nickel graded in high mint state with full steps. That means all the steps of Monticello are sharp and unbroken. Has sold at major auctions for $3,000 to over $7,000. That's not hype. That's real auction money. And most of these coins were pulled straight from circulation decades later. Now let's slow it down and teach you how to spot one. First, check the date, 1976. Second, look for the mint mark, a small D, to the right of Monticello on the reverse. Third, examine the color. Dark and dirty is normal. Do not clean it. Ever. Cleaning destroys big money and kills life-changing value instantly. Now comes the exciting part. Flip the coin over and focus on the steps of Monticello. You're looking for 5 or 6 clear, uninterrupted steps. No blending. No flat spots. If you see strong, crisp lines, even on a dirty coin, your heart should start pounding. Full steps are rare for Denver coins from the 1970s. Collectors pay huge premiums for them. Attention reset, because errors are where this coin gets dangerous. Look closely at Jefferson's eye, hair, and jawline. Then look at Liberty and the date. If you see doubling that looks separated in bold, not blurry, you may have a double die. Verified double die Jefferson nickels from the 1970s have sold for $300 to over $1,200, depending on strength and condition. Now check the rim. In 1976, dies were often overused. That created rim cuts, die cracks, and retained cuts. A dramatic rim break or heavy die crack crossing Monticello can bring $200, $500, even $1,000 plus if it's bold enough. These are mistakes that were never supposed to leave the mint. Hidden treasure. Let me reset your attention again. There are also off-center strikes and misaligned dies known for 1976 nickels. Even a 5 to 10% off-center strike with full date and mint mark can sell for $150 to $400, and stronger examples climb much higher. And here's something that shocks people. Because collectors were obsessed with bicentennial silver coins, millions of 1976 nickels were never checked. They sat in jars, drawers, and bankrolls for decades. That means rare varieties stayed hidden far longer than they should have. Some were discovered 40 years later and sold almost immediately for big money. Now listen carefully, this part matters. If your 1976 nickel feels unusual, if the rims look squared and sharp, if the strike looks cleaner than normal, if the steps are visible even under dirt, you do not have pocket change. You might have life-changing value. Professional grading is everything. A coin worth $20 raw can become a $3,000 coin once authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC. That plastic holder doesn't create value, it reveals it. Let me bring this home. What if the nickel you ignored yesterday? What if the dirty coin you almost spent? What if the change sitting in your house right now was actually hidden treasure waiting to be noticed? That's why this hobby is powerful. It rewards patience. It rewards curiosity. And sometimes, it rewards you with big money when you least expect it. So here's your urgent call to action. Go check every 1976 Jefferson nickel you own. Look at the steps. Study the rims. Search for errors. Because the next shocking discovery hasn't been found yet. And if you want more hidden treasure, more jaw-dropping stories, and more chances at life-changing value, subscribe right now. Because the next coin we expose might already be in your pocket. Stop scrolling, because the dirtiest 1965 Jefferson nickel you've ever ignored could be big money. I'm serious. That dark, ugly nickel sitting in a drawer, your car, or a forgotten jar could be hidden treasure worth hundreds, thousands, or a truly life-changing value if it's the right one. Stay with me, because what happened in 1965 created one of the most misunderstood money coins in modern U.S. history. Here's the mystery most collectors never hear. 1965 was pure chaos at the U.S. Mint. Silver had just been removed from circulating coins. The public panicked. Coins vanished from circulation overnight. The government demanded speed over perfection. The Denver Mint worked relentlessly, dies wore down, mistakes slipped through, and quality control quietly collapsed. And out of that pressure came rare errors and overlooked varieties that today mean big money. The 1965 Jefferson Nickel looks ordinary. No silver, no shine, just dirt, wear, and boredom. That's why it's so dangerous to ignore. Let's reset your attention right now. A high-grade 1965 Jefferson Nickel with full steps. That means sharp, uninterrupted steps on Monticello. Has sold at major auctions for $3,000 to over $5,000 when professionally graded. Most people never even look at the steps. They spend the coin and walk away from hidden treasure. Now slow down and look at your coin. First, the date, 1965. Second, the mint mark, a small D to the right of Monticello on the reverse. That D is critical. Third, the color, dark gray, brown, or dull nickel tones are normal. Do not clean it. Cleaning destroys life-changing value instantly. Now here's where the story gets intense. Because 1965 was a transition year, the mint experimented with special mint set style strikes. These coins were never meant for circulation, and yet some escaped. While most known SMS nickels lack mint marks, experts believe hybrid or unusually sharp Denver strikes slipped out as well. If your 1965 D nickel looks unusually sharp, smooth, or satin-like, different from every other nickel you've seen, your pulse should be racing. Collectors have paid thousands for these unusual strikes once authenticated. Attention reset, because errors are where the real big money hides. Look closely at Jefferson's eye, cheek, and the word liberty. If you see strong doubling, especially separation doubling, not machine blur, you could be holding a double die error. Verified double dies from the mid-1960s have sold for $300 to over $1,500, even when worn and dirty. Now flip it over. Study Monticello. Look for die cracks running across the building, the steps, or the rim. In 1965, dies were pushed far beyond their limits. Large cracks, retained cuds, or rim breaks can bring $200, $500, or more, depending on how dramatic they are. And here's another shock. Some 1965 Jefferson Nickels were struck off-center or on wrong metal planchets. These mistakes were never supposed to leave the mint. A confirmed off-metal or wrong planchet nickel can sell for several $1,000s, depending on weight, metal, and condition. That's not pocket change. That's life-changing value from 5 cents. Reset your attention again, because most of these coins were never collected. In 1965, nobody cared about nickels. People were focused on silver. That means rare 1965 D errors stayed in circulation for decades. Some were discovered in rolls, jars, and estate cleanouts 50 years later. Imagine finding hidden treasure in coins you've had since childhood. That happens. All the time. Now listen carefully, this part matters. Do not clean your coin. Dirt is not damage. Dirt is proof of survival. Professional graders want originality. That old and dirty look might be the very thing protecting your big money. If your 1965 D nickel feels heavier or lighter than normal, shows unusual color, has sharp squared rims, strange texture, or bold details, get it weighed, photographed, and authenticated by PCGS or NGC. That small step can turn 5 cents into a life-changing value. Let me bring this home. What if the coin you laughed at? What if the nickel you ignored? What if the change you almost spent today was actually hidden treasure waiting for the right eyes? That's why this hobby is powerful. It rewards curiosity. It rewards patience. And sometimes, it rewards you with big money. So here's your urgent mission. Check every 1965 Jefferson Nickel you own. Look at the steps, the rims, the errors, the strike. Because the next major discovery hasn't been found yet, and it could be sitting in your pocket right now. And if you want more shocking coin stories, more hidden treasure, and more chances at life-changing value, make sure you subscribe immediately. Because the next coin we expose might already belong to you. Listen closely, because in the next few minutes, I might turn the dirtiest, most ignored nickel in your pocket into big money, hidden treasure, and possibly a life-changing value. I'm talking about a coin most people throw away without a second glance, the 1964 old, dirty Jefferson Nickel. And yes, some of these have sold for thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never look at nickels the same way again. Here's the mystery. 1964 was a chaotic year in U.S. coin history. America was facing a massive coin shortage. People were hoarding silver. The U.S. Mint went into overdrive, striking billions of coins as fast as possible. Quality control collapsed. Dies were overused. Mistakes slipped through. And hidden among those rushed, grimy nickels were errors and rare varieties never meant to exist. That's why the 1964 Jefferson Nickel is one of the most dangerous coins to ignore. At first glance, it looks boring. Brown, dark, dirty, worn. Jefferson on the front, Monticello on the back. No silver shine, no excitement. But that's exactly why this coin hides big money. Let's reset your attention right now with the first shocker. In 2016, a 1964 Jefferson Nickel with a rare special mint set, style strike, known as an SMS nickel, sold at auction for over $8,000. And only a handful are known to exist. These weren't supposed to be released. No official records. No announcement. They just appeared. Hidden treasure. Now here's how you identify one. Start with the date, 1964. No mint mark. That's normal. Philadelphia didn't use one that year. Don't panic if it looks ugly. In fact, the dirtier and more unusual it looks, the better. Look at the strike quality. SMS nickels have an unusually sharp strike, squared rims, and a smooth, satin-like surface. Not mirror shiny like proofs, but not dull like normal circulation coins either. The rims look thick and crisp, almost too perfect. If your 1964 nickel looks different from the others, your heart should already be racing. Now let me hit you with another attention reset. Some 1964 nickels were struck on the wrong metal planchets. That means they were accidentally minted on blanks meant for other coins. These off-metal errors are insanely rare. One confirmed off-metal Jefferson nickel has sold for several $1,000s, depending on condition and authentication. That's life-changing value from a coin worth 5 cents. Next, errors. And this is where the real money hides. Check Jefferson's eye, cheek, and hair. Look at the word Liberty and the date. If you see doubling, especially strong, separated doubling, you might be looking at a double die obverse. Authentic double dies from this era have sold for $300 to over $1,500, even in circulated condition. Now flip it over. Look at Monticello. Check the steps at the bottom. If you see full steps, clear, uninterrupted lines, you could be holding another big money coin. A 1964 Jefferson Nickel with 5 or 6 full steps, graded high, has sold for $3,000 to $6,000 at major auctions like Heritage. And here's the emotional part. Most people never check the steps. They toss these coins back into circulation. Hidden treasure, lost every day. Let me reset your attention again. There are also die cracks, cuds, and rim errors on 1964 nickels because the mint pushed dies far beyond their limits. A dramatic rim cud or large die break can bring $200, $500, even $1,000 plus, depending on how bold it is. And don't clean the coin. Ever. That old, dirty look? That's history. Cleaning can destroy thousands of dollars in life-changing value instantly. Now here's the moment that really shocks people. Because 1964 nickels are so common, collectors ignored them for decades. That means rare varieties slipped through unnoticed. Some were found 40 or 50 years later in pocket change. Imagine checking a jar of nickels you've had since the 1980s and finding big money hiding in plain sight. That's not fantasy. That's reality. Professional grading matters. If you think you found something unusual, odd color, unusual weight, sharp strike, strange texture, get it authenticated by PCGS or NGC. That tiny slab of plastic can turn a 5-cent coin into a life-changing value. Now let me slow it down for just a second and speak directly to you. What if the coin you ignored yesterday? What if the dirty nickel in your drawer? What if the change sitting in your car cup holder right now isn't spare change, but hidden treasure? That's why collectors love this hobby. It's not just history. It's hope. Before we end, one last reset. There are still undiscovered 1964 SMS nickels out there. Experts believe more exist, sitting raw, misidentified, or forgotten. The next record sale could come from someone just like you. So here's your mission, urgent, right now. Go check your nickels. Look at every 1964. Study the rims, the steps, the surfaces, the errors. Because big money doesn't always shine. Sometimes it looks old, dirty, and worthless. And if you want more hidden treasure, more shocking coin stories, and more chances at life-changing value, make sure you subscribe right now.